Are you always on the search for latest crafting trends? Have you had your eye on hot foil plates but aren't quite sure how to use them? Never fear, your answer is here. Continue watching to find out about hot foil plates and how to use them in this simple video tutorial. To start, let your hot foil plate heat up nicely. Once it's at temperature, then take your hot foil plate and place this into place where you want it to be. Close the lid on your hot foil plate machine and then let that heat up nicely. Once this is done and up to temperature, you can then take a piece of foil. This will need to be a piece of heat reactive foil to work with the hot foil plate. Take the piece of foil and place this onto the hot foil plate. You need to place this down so the pretty side of the foil is actually touching the hot foil plate and the other side is facing towards you. Once this is done, you can take your piece of cardstock and place this into position. For a little more added pressure, you may need to use a couple of different shims to add into this too. I'm just using a couple of different layers of cardstock just to add a little bit more pressure. Once this is done, I can close the foil press and then remove this from the little holder. Once I have slid this out of the holder, I'm then going to take this over to my die cutting machine. You will need a die cutting machine that is allowing you to push this through. Please don't add too much pressure to your plates because you do not want to break either the foil press or your machine. I'm just going to run mine through twice, but you can run it through as many times as you like to make sure that that foil sticks to the cardstock where you wish it to. I can then remove the little shims that we have in place and then take out the cardstock with the foil. The foil will be adhered to your piece. All you then need to do is carefully remove the foil to reveal the beautifully foiled embossed design.
Hello everyone, this is Nicole from Altenew. In this video, I'm going to quickly walk you through how to use our hot foil plates using the Spellbinders foiling system. This one's called Glimmer hot foil system that you can get from Spellbinders. I'll show you all about how to foil using our plates in a basic way, and I'll share some tips along that I have learned. So you get this two foil plates that goes on the top. So you have the spacing pad and then the thinner plate, the thinner green plate that's kind of semi-translucent, and also magnetic what do you call it, wand, I think, that kind of picks up the plate when it's hot, and then you can rest it on the silicone pad that comes with it. It also has a foiling platform that you will connect to the heating system and then unhook when the plate is ready, and then you will use this along with our Spellbinders Platinum 6 die cutting machine. So I'm going to turn on the machine by pressing the switch on the top right corner of the platform for the Glimmer foiling system, and then I'm going to wait. So when you turn on the switch, you will see the red light on the left side of the foiling system, and then you're going to wait until the second green light comes on. In the meantime, I'm going to get my foiling ready. So I have my cardstock, I have my hot foil plate, and then I'm going to grab a sheet of gold hot foil sheet. I'm going to measure it so that I can cut it within the size. One of the tips to not over foil is to make sure that you're cutting the foil sheets to the right size. You just want to have a little bit of space around the foil plate that you're going to use. I'm going to cut around the rose area as well so that I can prevent the overfoiling when I'm putting this through. So I'm just going to use my scissor. You want to use the sharpest scissor that you have that is very clean. That way it doesn't tear up the foil sheets or scratch it. Normally, you would put down the hot foil plate itself onto the platform facing up, and then pretty side of the hot foil sheets down, and then putting the cardstock on top of it, and then the spacer pads. But I'm gonna show you a little bit of different way. Now you can see that I have gotten the green light ready. So now I'm gonna put the cardstock down first, and then hot foil sheet pretty side up. So ugly side is going to face the cardstock or touches the cardstock. I'm gonna flip the hot foil plate upside down so that the design side goes down and then the back side faces me. And I'm going to go ahead and secure this with some heat resistance tape. You can use washi tape as well, that works great. But this way, when you have a big foiling plate like this, it's much easier to put this onto a platform. Once you have the assembled sandwich ready, flip it over so the hot foil goes down, that touches the platform. You're going to make sure to heat it up nicely. And when you have everything ready, you're going to touch the timer button on the bottom left. And when it blinks, it means it's heating up. And while it's heating up, I'm going to put the thin spacer. I'm going to add 1 shim of 80-pound cardstock. And then I'm going to add spacer pad on top. The larger the larger hot foil plate you have, the longer it will take to evenly heat it up. So I suggest you give a nice big heating time. You can also do a test foiling first to see if it's heated up well enough. Sometimes it takes me 2-3 times to actually get a really good foiling result. So make sure you play that around. You have to kind of get used to using this with your machine. So once it's all heated up and the flashing light stops and it becomes a solid green light, you're going to take it off and disconnect it from the system. Make sure you do not touch the bottom of the platform. You're gonna touch only on the side like I'm doing here. If you're going to reuse this, obviously click it back into the platform so that it would reheat it again. But I'm not going to do this, so I'm just going to leave it disconnected. And I'm going to let this cool for a bit because it's really hot. I'm just going to let it wait and then peel it off. And this is the result you'll get. So you can see that there's hardly any overfoiling and you can get all of the lines in a crisp way. And this is an example that I have made using the stencil as well. So I hope this was a good video to introduce on how to use our hot foil plates with the Spellbinders Glimmer foiling system.
We have Sparkle Bright. So in here we have a 6x8 stamp set that has a really beautiful floral cluster in there with some layering elements and sentiments. As well as that, this is the Sparkle Bright hot foil plate, and this will add some beautiful gold foil elements to your design. I am going to be using the hot foil plate. Now I do have this on my hot foil machine and it's nicely heated up. I'm then going to take some foil and I'm going to pop that down, foil side down onto the heated plate. And then as you can see, that has a beautifully foiled there. Now I'm going to take the outline from the stamp set and I'm going to pop this into place. I'm lining up those 2 center points on the flowers and then making sure that the rest of the pieces are within the leaves. So once that's in place, I can pop that down and then press that nice down firmly to make sure that it has stamped beautifully. And then I'm going to move on to the flowers. I'm just going to pop that down and make sure it's nicely stamped before I remove that one. I'm then going to move on to the second layer of the flowers. Once that's done, I can then move on to the flower centers. Once that's done, I can take the large foliage like leaf cluster that we have here. Again, press this down nice and firmly to make sure that all of that ink has transferred to the image. That is all of the layering complete. We have the Gilded Rose. So in here we have a huge hot foil plate of this really beautiful rose design there. We also have the simple colouring stencil that coordinates. So in this simple colouring stencil you are going to get 3 different stencils that includes 4 layers for that beautiful rose. So you can add this quickly and easily to your foiled design. So once I have my foiling, I'm then going to take the layering stencil that coordinates with this, and I'm going to take the first of the stencils and I'm just going to pop that into place around the image. So this is going to fit directly within that kind of foiled outline that we have. So once I've finished and I've applied all of the ink that I wish to, I'm just going to remove the first stencil. I'm then going to take the second stencil and I'm going to pop this into position over the first image that we've just done. Now this is going to add in some beautiful shading and detail to the image. I can then remove the second stencil and then move on to the third. Now the third stencil has two different images on, and this is going to add more of a dark colour to more of the centre of that flower to give you that look of dimension. I can then remove the stencil and then shift it over back into place so we can add in that darker colour for the fourth layer of this image. And that is all of the layering complete. And then we also have the Sentiment Banners die set, which is going to fit over the beautiful foiling and then allow you to create beautiful foiled sentiment banners. So once that has been foiled, you can then remove the foil and you can see just how beautifully shiny it is. You can then take the cover die, which coordinates with the hot foiling plate, and I'm just going to pop that into position so I can see kind of the foil just on the inside of those die cut banners. So once I've run that through my die cut machine, you can see that we have all of these really beautiful foiled and die cut elements. Create your own beautiful foil designs in your craft room today. Browse through our hot foil plate collection on our website, www.altenew.com.
Hello crafters, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Thanks for watching!